Welcome back. Where did the HIV/AIDS epidemic come from? And why is it affecting people of color more than anyone else? And is the government behind a conspiracy to wipe us all out?
When people say to me, well, do black people believe in that AIDS is caused by a conspiracy? And I say, some of us do.
The conspiracy theory is just one of the many misinformations about HIV/AIDS my guest Claudia Pryor explored in her documentary. It is called Why Us? Left Behind and Dying. And this documentary was produced by Diversity Films of Stanford with the help of a group of students from the Westinghouse High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Claudia, let's talk about the mis and disinformation that is out there when it comes to HIV/AIDS.
Well, I think what people don't understand, and often mainstream society doesn't understand, is that this is the legacy of racism, past racism and current racism. And it's very hard for people to know that this virus impacts our community without thinking, did somebody make it that way?
Okay, let's talk some specifics. I have heard this, and I'm quite sure others have heard this, that AIDS came from sex with monkeys.
Absolutely.
Not true.
Totally not true.
It originated in Africa, but it originated in an area of Africa where pets were made of monkeys. Yeah. Monkeys were like household pets.
Yes, yes.
And also sometimes hunted and eaten.
Yes, yes. Just the way we eat deer, and they think it's strange that we eat deer or that the French eat snails. Monkeys are sometimes a delicacy, actually, a very expensive delicacy. But no, there was the whole notion of people having sex with monkeys was absolutely wrong.
Okay, and then one of the things that caused it to explode in Africa was the reuse of disposable syringes, needles.
This is a question. Scientists are not certain at all about how this started. But one of the theories that appears to make sense to a group of scientists is that in the 50s, there were massive medical campaigns by the West in Africa to inoculate people with penicillin, and you had to have syringes back then. And those needles were, scientists believe, reused. And also there were unscreened blood transfusions. And the reason that that's important is that the very first blood sample on record in the world that has HIV in it was taken from a man in the Congo in 1959.
So that was 50 years ago.
Exactly.
50 years ago.
And most people are aware that the virus takes a very long time to become AIDS. So just backtracking what was going on in the late 40s, early 50s, that might have caused this, that might have caused, that might have created the HIV virus.
Okay, and one thing that hit me straight in the eye when I was watching this, low self-esteem, which causes risky behavior.
Yes.
Prevalent all throughout this documentary.
One of the most, and I think that was made clear by the expert who probably was the student's favorite expert. His name is Cleo Monago. He goes sort of straight to the underlying reason, because there's 15 or 20 reasons why, and they're all connected, why we have higher rates of HIV. But frankly, if we cared enough about ourselves to protect ourselves, we would be able to do a lot to get rid of this virus. And the fact is, unfortunately, we have risky behavior because ultimately we don't care about ourselves.
We have low self-esteem.
Yes.
Parents, build your kids up. Okay, and finally, where can we see this?
Okay.
Where can we see this documentary?
This is actually brand new. It's not yet in release. I'm in that situation where I'm trying to find a distributor who will get it out into theaters, or hopefully get it on television, and ultimately get it in Walmart so that people can access it. But up until then, until I find a distributor, I can be reached at whyus@aol.com.
All righty, well, we want to thank you so much for undertaking this. We hope it does make mass distribution, because we need to hear this. We are comatose when it comes to the HIV/AIDS problem.
Absolutely.